Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
In breaking news, if you had the Girl Scouts of America get sued on your bingo card, you can cross it off today. Yeah, so in March of 2025, so this month, the consumers are filing a class action lawsuit against the Girl Scouts of America. This also includes their licensed bakers, ABC Bakers, and Ferrero USA Little Brownie Bakers. This suit is alleging that their cookies, including Thin Mints, contain heavy metals such as aluminum, arsenic, cadmium, lead, and mercury, as well as a pesticide. But honestly, those Thin Mints are so good, and if that's what makes them taste so good, it is what it is. These claims are based on a study that was done in December of last year. It tested a sample of 25 cookies from 3 states in the U.S. And the plaintiffs in this suit are arguing that the Girl Scouts of America failed to disclose those contaminants and potentially will harm consumers.
My jaw hit the floor when I first saw this. That is absolutely crazy because every year people look forward to Girl Scout cookies. And we usually spend about $100 every year on Girl Scout cookies, and we haven't spent any money on them this year, thank goodness. But then I think about all of the other stuff that's in all of our other food that has been approved by the FDA, and they're probably right on par.
You don't need a therapist. You need to stop acting like life is a medical condition. Bad days aren't trauma, and feeling lost isn't a disorder. And not getting your way, that's not oppression, that's Tuesday. People have started diagnosing normal struggles like their psychological crisis, when in reality life comes with stress, setbacks, and uncertainty. That's not dysfunction, that's just being alive. Therapy has its place, but so does resilience. At some point, you have to stop overanalyzing every inconvenience and start handling things like a functional adult. Because resilience isn't outdated, it's just rebranded as toxic positivity.
But if everything isn't a struggle and a medical disorder, then how is corporate medicine gonna get all their money? Yeah, I didn't come up with that term. That was Tony G, one of my viewers. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Corporate medicine. So true.
A group of scientists placed 5 monkeys in a cage and in the middle a ladder with bananas on top. Every time a monkey went up the ladder, the scientists soaked the rest of the monkeys with cold water. After a while, every time a monkey went up the ladder, the others beat up the one on the ladder. After some time, no monkey dared go up the ladder, regardless of the temptation. Scientists then decided to substitute one of the monkeys. The first thing this new monkey did was go up the ladder. Immediately, the other monkeys beat him up. After several beatings, the new member learned not to climb the ladder, even though he never knew why. A second monkey was substituted, and the same occurred. The first monkey participated on the beating for the second monkey. The replacements repeated until what was left was a group of 5 monkeys that, even though never received a cold shower, continued to beat up any monkey who attempted to climb the ladder. If you asked the new group of monkeys why the beatings took place, the answer would probably be,
"Well, I don't know. That's just how things are done around here."
First of all, those poor monkeys. Secondly, I was trying to think of a particular, specific situation where this event occurs, in real life, and for the life of me, my brain is not doing brain things. If you can think of one, let me know in the comments down below, and while you're there, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, won't you consider subscribing? Look, I'm almost to 500 million. 500 million! Not really, but yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let me know if you can think of a specific scenario that this applies.
Milk about 260 cows. Right now during the winter months, you milk quite a bit more milk because the feed is very consistent. And as you do a good job, you will produce quite a bit of milk. Regulated by the government and by the DFO. But the problem is what they don't understand is millions of people look at this milk running away because it's the end of the month. So I dump 30,000 liters of milk. It breaks my heart. $7 a liter. When I go for my haircut, people say, "Wow, $7, Jerry, for a little bit of milk." I say, well, you have to go higher up because we have no say anymore as a dairy farmer on our own farm because they make us dump it. And no matter how we stand up, so this time I'm going public. I want the people to see the pain that us growers have.
I think it's a manufactured shortage. And just like our eggs and chicken here in the United States, I feel like corporations and the government are like, make them get rid of it so we can raise prices and make more money and not give them any more money. Keep them limited on how much supply these corporations purchase from the suppliers. And then they can drive up the prices. A lot of people are saying it's the farmers driving up the prices because there's a shortage, but I think it's a manufactured shortage for a lot of things. And that's why a lot of prices are going high, because of these greedy fat cats. They just want more money. If the supply is low and the demand is high, they can set whatever price they want. Okay, this just popped into my head. Maybe this is why all these corporations are buying up all this farmland, because there's no middleman there. They short out the supplier. Oh my goodness, I can't believe, okay, I just realized this, and we're doing this in real time. They can keep the suppliers, poor until they're like, oh, you can't afford to do it anymore. And then they just buy them out. And then there's no middleman anymore. The corporation, oh my goodness, the corporation owns the land. They're their own supplier. They can set their own prices. And oh, okay, that's disgusting. And that's probably exactly what's going on. What the hell just happened there? That doesn't make sense. How is that possible? Why? Okay, what? Can somebody please explain that to me like I eat crayons? Because I'm got Crayola all over my teeth right now. What?
This looks to be like it's throwing a wrench in the gears in the official story of how Earth came to be and what the timeline of events was. They say if the news is fake, imagine how bad history is. Well, these guys are finding seashells and all kinds of stuff, which people find seashells all the time that are old. Except they're at the top of a mountain. And that means this mountain was under an ocean at one point. But how long ago? According to official sources, about 3 billion years ago. Do these look like 3 billion year old shells? Let me know.
So I'm pretty sure I know this one. It's because of tectonic plates, right? They were once underwater for why ever, I wasn't there, and then they become the mountains. So then there's like seashells and stuff there because they were once underwater and now they're not. It's uplifted seafloors. Or perhaps it was in the last reset when the poles shifted and everything went all cattywampus and all the stuff was covered by the ocean. That's a good possibility too.
But we are not native to this place.
No. I think that we have multiple strains of DNA running through there's nobody that's walking here that is native to this place. Certainly very, very, very few.
The Sasquatch native to here?
I think more. How about more native? I don't think that they. If that's.
They've just been here longer.
Yeah, I think that there was a human experiment, and I think we're involved in the human experiment, and the human experiment has been hijacked by a number of different streams of consciousness, species, whatever you want to call them, and I think that we have not been allowed to evolve naturally as an awakening consciousness here, and we've been usurped by another species that has taken over and manipulated and used us as slaves. But I think the human line as we know it now, the human form as we know it now, was created to be a sort of a working slave species and on another prison planet. And this definitely, for sure, is a prison planet.
Max Spears was absolutely brilliant. Or potentially very troubled, and very possibly both, but it's a damn shame what they did to him. This is a very interesting topic, and I freaking love it, and I'm learning to love it even more. And Big Bang and I had a little conversation in yesterday's comment section about Mars and how maybe those structures on Mars were built by the same civilization that built the pyramids on our planet. And then maybe they were the ones that came over and intermingled with the people to give us what we are today. And perhaps, since he said Bigfoot, what if Bigfoot was what those original people actually evolved into? Crazy, right?
Every part of the ecclesiastical architecture that defines the features of cathedrals, churches and chapels was used to enhance these frequencies of the congregations in these buildings of the Old World Empire. When it comes to each of the architraves on the entrances to cathedrals and the spires, these features were designed to absorb the telluric electricity from the ether. The geometry design on the floors of these healing temples were interconnected and somehow increased the amount of ether energy which resonated into the cathedrals, churches and chapels by evenly distributing the resonant telluric electricity, much of which became stored in the capacitors in the healing temples.
All right, I don't mean to knock on religion because I respect religion. I myself am non-religious, but I think that everybody's entitled to believe whatever they want to believe. I feel like these cathedrals were once like hospitals, healing centers, and people would go there and it would like soothe their spirits or whatever it had to do, right? The cymatic frequencies that, balance us out. And somebody wanted to capitalize on that. And then it shifted over time into what it is today. And that's why there's no longer the cymatic healing. It is more a prayer to the person that is giving you the healing in a roundabout way without being, rude and disseminating anybody's religion, because that's messed up. But I feel like, if this is another one of those technologies that has been lost to potentially corporate greed. And like I said, that is just my opinion, and I'm very capable of being wrong.
On the 22nd of July 1998, the CIA declassified a document called National Cultural Development Under Communism, which they had produced on the 1st of June 1957. A section within the document mentions the existence of the Tartar civilization and how its once incredible presence had to be censored and deleted. Here is the quote from the document that summarizes how any knowledge about Tartaria had to be kept from the public. In other words, Tartar history was to be rewritten. Let us be frank, was to be falsified, in order to eliminate references to the great Russian aggressions and to hide facts of the real center of Tartar-Russian relations.
And I didn't do any research on that particular CIA document, but I am inclined to believe that the Tartarian Empire did once exist, and they had vast amounts of knowledge and technology, and it just quietly got swept under the rug. But that rug is being pulled back a little more every day, isn't it?
This is the only confirmed case of reincarnation in human history, and it's truly horrifying. In the quiet town of Goobersville, Indiana, in 1939, a young couple welcomed their baby girl, Mary. For the first few years, Mary seemed like any other child, until she started speaking strange words no one could understand. Her parents thought it was gibberish at first, but as she grew, it became clear. Mary was speaking fluent Chinese. The family was stunned. They had no ties to China, no exposure to the language. Seeking answers, they consulted language experts who confirmed that Mary's Chinese was not only fluent, but filled with phrases no modern child would know. As the years passed, Mary's behavior grew stranger. One day, she pointed to an old map and insisted, "Take me here." The place? A remote village in China. Desperate for answers, her parents finally gave in. After a long journey, they arrived in the village. While riding a train through the countryside, Mary suddenly demanded they stop. She led them to an old farmhouse, ran to the door, and knocked frantically. An elderly man opened it, and without hesitation, Mary bolted inside. The family followed, stunned, as Mary removed a brick from the wall and pulled out a small, dusty doll. Clutching it tightly, she turned to the old man and whispered, "Don't you remember me? This was mine." The room fell silent. What Mary said next left everyone frozen in shock.
All right, y'all. I have told you time and time again, Fitz does not exist, okay? There is a person named Fitz, and he did create a story about how the FBI and everything, they all wanted him for footage that he had from the whole Florida alien thing, okay? And it was just a story. And that's why I'm waving the BS flag. I think this is the same thing. It's just a story created by somebody. It's a really good story, but all of the information that I'm able to find on it comes from the same source. So it makes me think that it's not real. Now, I'm not saying that reincarnation is not a real thing. Personally, I don't believe it. A lot of people do, and that's fine. If that's part of your belief system, fantastic. But I think this was just an excellent story.
But all over planet Earth, these edifices contained organs. We can see with the chronovisor of the Roman Catholic Church and the Vatican City State, which is a device that can be used to look into the past and uses the metallic pipe organs. According to what the chronovisor found, it was a kind of acoustic-based occult technology in Great Tartaria and the Old World Empire. When you look into the historical narratives about these cathedrals, churches and chapels, along with other relatable buildings, you will begin to see glitches, redacted information and deleted words in the building records, construction times, what the purpose was of many of these cathedrals, churches and chapels, and what they actually were. What was the true purpose of these buildings? Were they healing temples?
All right, so here's where my conspiracy brain went. We just talked about it, right? They were probably healing temples, but he said they were Tartarian design. And we just swept Tartaria under the rug now, didn't we? So maybe that's what all of that information is, hidden in the miles and miles of catacombs under the Vatican, where these actual cathedrals came from, like who built them, why they were built, what their actual purpose was. Okay, I'm not trying to knock on religion again. I feel bad because I just did, and I'm sorry, but still, what if?
Remember when a few years ago that YouTuber supposedly went missing after creating a portal to Sedona inside of his bedroom?
Missing YouTuber and his viral video. It's all part of a mystery centered around Sedona, Arizona.
Of course, the popular tourist destination that we all love and know, and it's known for its scenic beauty and shopping. But don't forget its mysterious side. Crystals and energy vortexes are a big reason why some people visit Sedona.
He shows himself on video using his computer with a variation of frequencies. He also has this light box on his bed.
It can be used for science experiments. I would say so.
I'm speeding this part up so you can see it. It's much slower in the real video, but you can see the little box working, and it's creating the portal that's supposedly showing Sedona on the other side. His name was Funky Fathead on YouTube. He was notorious for opening up these portals using sound frequencies. Not long after opening up the portal to Sedona, his account went inactive. A lot of people told him that traveling through these portals could be very dangerous for him.
I did not leave with this on my back. I was gone approximately 15 to 17 minutes. I usually don't like to be gone longer than 25 minutes per trip. This is a new one. This is a new thing.
There's a lot of people saying that this fella is still missing. He's not. He's found. he's been found. In fact, there have been multiple debunking videos showing how that portal image can be easily created and manipulated, you know, with computer technology and stuff, you know, banging rocks together. So that's pretty much what's going on. But a lot of people, for some reason, still think the fella's missing.
I'm sorry, did astronomers just discover a parallel universe in which time flows backwards? In Antarctica, scientists are flying some radio antennas 37,000 meters above the ground on a giant balloon. And while it's up there looking around, it detects high-energy particles called neutrinos. Neutrinos are a particle that have a mass of almost zero and interact with almost nothing, which means they can pass through things pretty much undetected, earning them the nickname of the ghosts of the universe. In fact, about 100 trillion neutrinos pass through your body every second. They pass through Earth. This is an image of the sun through Earth from neutrinos ejected from the core of the sun. Neutrinos don't bump into things very often, but when they do, we can detect them. So scientists are watching neutrinos bump into the Antarctic ice sheet, but sometimes these neutrinos look like they're coming from Earth instead of from space, which is really weird. So we don't physically know what's happening. But does that mean there's a parallel universe? No. There's a bunch of things it could be, we just don't know yet. The principal investigator on this project himself said that they did not discover a parallel universe, and that if you're saying that, it's bad journalism. We don't know the answer. We're still figuring out physics. That doesn't mean it's a parallel universe. Neutrinos are known for being weird. Unfortunately, this is just a terrible headline from 2020 going viral again. And if you want more science and debunking videos, you can follow me here in the place that I can't mention.
Well, that was a range of emotions. I was like, what? And then I was like, oh my goodness. And then I was like, oh, she does that to me a lot. I love her stuff.
This is where you start from, our Milky Way. And each point tells you this is where it's at. In all 3 star maps that I know of.
Well, could the ET star map relate to the portal jumps?
That's what I'm thinking.
Portal jumps between magnetic field anomalies on Earth, multiple universes, multiple dimensions, multiple timelines, and matter worlds. Is that what this black sun pattern on the thick black basalt doors in Antarctica means? Did the humanoid intelligence that built these 6 huge structures covering 62 acres each in Antarctica deliberately mark their huge self-activating doors with the 12-arm symbol and star map because the information was their signature and their key to a galactic portal network?
What basalt doors? What black sun marking thing? What? That doesn't make any sense. It covers like all this acreage and there's the things. What? Why haven't I heard of this? And it's probably got something to do with weird crap because, yeah. All right. Now that I am thoroughly confused and a little excited because it's something new that I've never heard of before, we're gonna move right along. I wasn't able to find the ending to that David Adair interview, but I'm sure I will somewhere else. I found a new story. It's a multi-part something or other, and hopefully it's fantastic. Let's check it out.
They are a fifth dimensional race. They are technologically 10,000 years more advanced than us, and spiritually probably closer to 50,000. But they still have their own issues. Okay, with their own society. They're still evolving. They're still trying to make their way and find out what is the path. And each one of them has their own path because they're individuals, just like we are. So regardless of who makes first contact, who shows up afterwards, whoever's in this room, the bottom line is this. We are all at different stages of evolution, but no one is better than any other. All right? No one is. And don't ever accept that. The Andromedans first came here because something happens in the future. And there's a very negative imbalance that occurs in their future. And in tracing it back, they traced it back to our solar system. I don't know if that is still a probability now. We are getting all kinds of help and intervention from many different races. And the reason for that is fascinating, to be perfectly honest with you. And it's probably going to take a little while for it to sit with you, but it's important that I do the best that I can to share this. It is the Andromedan perspective that all of us on this planet are genetic royalty. That inside each one of us, we hold the combined DNA of 22 different extraterrestrial races. Now, all of the speakers have touched upon some of these things over the weekend, and I've sat in the audience with you, and bells would go off all the time. Dr. Cremo made reference to, here's physicality, but something brings it to life. Something creates the DNA. Okay, that's obviously spirit. It's soul. David Wilcock talked about the same thing, of spirit, higher dimensional realms, higher entities coming in and creating a template over life. All of these things are a possibility because God is so incredibly creative. There is no limit to the creativity of the Creator or to us. Now, the Andromedan perspective, and I'm just going to get right into this and then I'll share some stories because I want you to sit with this. The Andromedan perspective is that many of us have already been through this cycle of evolution on a spiritual level. It is their perspective. And this is information that they have received from teachers that they have that are on 9th density. Is that on the 11th density, there is a race of beings called the Patal. They're also known as the founders, who created the wormholes and many other things, okay, in our known universe. The Vidya, it's a holograph. Those who created our holograph, the original ones who created our holograph. Apparently, the spiritual evolution of our universe got stuck. Somehow it got stuck. And it was interesting that David Wilcock talked about that last night as well. It is their perspective that this group of Patal left eternity to fall back into the concept of time. And that many civilizations, approximately 21 civilizations, in 3rd density, which are going through the same process we're going through, Patal are on all of those planets. Okay? So now you have highly spiritually evolved beings who came in to time, choosing to forget who they were, stepping into genetic royalty physicality. Now, within that physicality and that genetic makeup that we have, we also have the racial memories of these races. Now, that's profound because when you take a look at the idea that many of these different races come from completely different environments, completely different living habitats and ecosystems, which we'll talk about, there truly is absolutely no limit to what we are and what we can do. The question no longer is, and I agree absolutely 100% with Paula on this, it isn't, are we alone? That question's done. The question is,
we're going to have to find out on Monday. This is starting out pretty good. I'm liking it. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got aliens, time travel, densities and dimensions, a little divine intervention and some DNA diddling. Oh, okay. I hope this is fantastic. It's starting out really good. And we're going to continue on Monday. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back in a couple of days. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things. And it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day. We're going to have to find out on Monday. This is absolutely exciting. It's got everything. It's got aliens. It's got the dogs barking. It's got... First of all, those He's playing Daisy. He's got his headphones on, but still talking loud. We're gonna have to find out on Monday. This has got everything. I'm so excited about it. It's got aliens, it's got time travel, dimensions, density. I can say words.